All right, people, the real Tri-Moto Man here. I've seen some people trying to take my name, but anyhow, I got a quick project. We're gonna ditch the Chinese engine approach. I just don't feel right doing that to my titled 200X roller. So I happened to pick up a really well-running 200S, even though I didn't think it was gonna run at all. It doesn't smoke, motor's tight, things probably sap forever. So we got the roller frame, we got some red paint there. We're just gonna notch it out, weld it up, and we're gonna do an AutoX build tomorrow in one day. We're also gonna upgrade the brakes. I'm gonna put a YFZ 450 master cylinder on here, get rid of that old junk, because the master cylinder doesn't let it feed back. It keeps sticking the rear brakes, so we're gonna fix that up. But you'll see one day, and then we're gonna have an AutoX. I'll show you guys how to do that. It's super easy. My 10-year-old rode the 200S, absolutely fell in love with it, so now we need suspension. Okay, so we have this old ratty engine plug, drilled and tapped this, added the plug, so now we have a parking brake delete. So we're gonna install this. The cable was seized up, and then we're gonna swap the line out for this line and put the new master on. Okay, we upgraded to this twist style reservoir. We got this line shortened in place. This is a YFZ 450 carb model master cylinder. I've been eyeballing these for 200X for a while because they're really similar. The body's almost identical. I had to drill these out to 2364s. This throw is shorter and the threaded portion is shorter, which I'm hoping is going to be better for the long pedal that we have to use for the AutoX swap, because a lot of people have brake issues. So I've done them in the past, but I used like a 350X or a second gen 250R brake pedal, I think. I can't really remember, but we're going to use the 200S one. So I got everything in order now. Got the new brake line. You don't have to do this for your AutoX build, this back part. I was just having master cylinder issues, so I'm swapping it out. And we're gonna experiment with the shorter throw on this guy. Hopefully it's gonna work a lot better, be more responsive than having to send your foot way down here in order to operate the brake. Now, when you do an AutoX, you do have to modify this, shorten it, whatnot, so we'll see how this goes. All right, we did a little pre-bleeding. I was using my hand on it till I gained pressure. We ran one reservoir tank through it, already shooting fluid, so this master is gonna work great. This brake line is not gonna swell like the old 80s one. I'm gonna be happy with this upgrade. Oh yeah, one other item. We're switching to .4. So this is, let me switch. This is a .4 system. It's not gonna hurt the caliper back here. I did it in the past when I ran 400EX brakes on my 200X build. So yeah, it's definitely gonna be an upgrade. So the reason I was gonna fuel injected motor swap this originally, and I was gonna cut the tubes and everything, it's because this old ATC frame broke, like most of them do. I'm like not happy with these frames. They've been breaking on me since I was a kid. But anyways, we're gonna notch this out. We're just gonna weld it. Then if it breaks again, I'll go back and fish plate it. But I wanna go riding today. We're doing the one-day video. So we're gonna fix that real quick, paint it up. I gotta jump over to the 84 Ducati we just got. It actually is gonna run pretty good. I just had a gummed up carb. I gotta fix the shifter, some other little things, weld the exhaust back on. But yeah, I'm gonna do both of these today. The video is just gonna be about this though. Okay, so this also isn't part of your AutoX build, but it might be if your frame's cracked like mine. I got it notched, went past the crack on both sides. Now we're just gonna set a nice bead in there. Then we'll jump to the other side and get that. Need to put the shock reservoir back. I took it off because I was gonna move these down tubes, but we're no longer doing that. And you know, this tube is thin. You'd think it'd be like 1/8 inch, but this metal that they use is like pretty low quality, mild steel. It's ERW. It's like thinner and weaker than Schedule 40 pipe. So I got my welder set to 1/8 inch, and there was some thin spots that tried to blow through, but we got her all welded up, so we'll paint it and we'll get on with the engine swap. I like that apple red better than the factory. I'm probably going to paint the whole frame with that later. I was thinking about powder coating it, but I want to keep this. So yeah, we'll probably end up going with this red later, and then new fenders. It'll really pop. This Auto X, I don't know how long I'll keep it around, but I do have a title for it, so that's cool. All right, we got our donor bike. I already pulled the tank. We're gonna rip the motor out and stick it in the other one. Now, the manifold right here for the carb's not gonna fit. I got one off an 88XR, which will fit. It's the same as the 200X. You'll wanna use your 200X one. You're gonna wanna use the 200X engine mounts. Then probably utilize the shifter, and then we're gonna do something with the brake lever. You're gonna want the complete wire harness off of here. I'm gonna run everything on here. All right, we got the wire harness pulled, carb's coming off to get cleaned, exhaust is off, and we're gonna pull the throttle, but I'm gonna bump up to a 13 tooth from an 11 tooth, give it a little pep in its step because it's going into the sporty chassis, because it's like really low geared right now. So we're gonna see what this does. All right, trick for this is we're gonna super glue that O-ring back together. They just smeared orange RTV all over it, which I don't like. We're gonna get a carb kit coming from this, but we're gonna band-aid it for today. Well, that explains why it was running decent. This ain't too bad. If I need some, I'm gonna rob it from a PD clone I have over there. We're gonna hydrosonically clean this real fast after I pull the Takati air striker out. So the air screw had no washer on it. The spring was stuck. We're gonna replace those. I got some 200X stuff. What sucks about this 81 200S carb is the pilot jet is fixed, so stuck with that. The needle clip is in a weird position. It's taking fuel out, probably because we're at 5,000 feet elevation. Could have been like that since new. I'm not gonna jet it today. We're just gonna put it back together. All right, so we pulled the motor. We got it in this one. Everything lines up. The 200 Hondas are sweet like that. So now I'm gonna put the bottom bolt in. And then if memory serves, I just use all the 200X motor mounts. I haven't done this in like 15 years. So we're gonna do that and we'll see where we're at. Okay, that was incredibly easy. Spark plug was like a tad bit loose. Looks kind of like fouled out. I don't know why this isn't focusing. There we go. We're gonna throw a brand new spark plug in it, and then we're gonna put the manifold on, the head pipe on, and we're gonna carry on. So yeah, all 200X motor mounts. It's kind of a pain getting them lined up, but then it goes pretty easy. Sorry about the dirty stuff. It's kind of a fast build. We stole the bowl gasket out of that. So you can see the bend difference here. This is the same as the 200X. It's out of the 88XR200. I sold the 200X motor with the intake on it, so we're gonna use this one. This one will not work, the 200S one. So you have to run this angle and length. Okay, so you can see how that lines up. Now the carb's gonna fit. So I'm really fortunate. I just parted out an XR because I wasn't planning on putting this motor in here. So I already got rid of my other one. I would have been dead in the water without it. Doing a custom silicone intake on here. You can use your stock 200X boot. I'm not a fan of those things, so I'm gonna do the silicone. It's gonna be cool. You can just buy pieces. If you measure, they sell pieces online, super easy to do, and then put a little piece of metal in the middle. All right, so now we're gonna do the header, run the wire harness. So you can run the stock header. This is not a performance engine, so I'm not too concerned about it. A 200X exhaust fits perfectly. I was not planning on doing this build, spur of the moment, so I am gonna have to come up with a tailpipe real quick. It's gonna be ugly. But yeah, we're gonna do that. So we got the exhaust cooling off. I made one out of a TRX 300 4-tracks exhaust. That was not what I was expecting to do today, but okay, we got the left side. In order to clear the shifter, it's like a hair long, but I don't want to try to fit a different shifter with all this going on, so it'll be fine. You need longer bolts, and you need like 10mm spacers. They're like 10mm wide with a 10mm hole. So now all this will fit. Okay, so I'm not gonna do lights today. We're running low on time. I gotta put the Takati carburetor back in, but the 200X first gen has absolutely the worst chain adjustment ever conceived. It is a stupid design. Whoever thought this up should just punch themselves in the nuts. Anyways, people always try to torque these ones down a bunch. That's why these ones are all rounded off. It was like that when I got it. I'm gonna have to take them apart, but The other bad design is getting the pivot bolt out. They're always seized in there, so I'll deal with that another day. We're gonna be all right. Fun fact, when you swap to this motor, but you have the same size sprockets as before, it's about 1 tooth off. Before we put the cover on, we're gonna lube up the chain with some trusty AMS oil. And yes, I know these red Chinese chains are absolute junk, but on a very low horsepower machine like this, you'll never have an issue. If you put it on that or the 450, it's gonna snap in half. But my kid wanted a red chain, so here we are. So if you trim the chain cover straight down, then it'll fit. I'm never scared to cut a part, especially a $30 part. All right, we got the 4Trax 300 exhaust fitted. Turned out okay for just some scrap. Got the lower mount added even. Nice and stout, got good clearance on the tires. It misses everything. I already had the fender on. Looking good. It's a bigger diameter than the head pipe, so it should work fine. So basically you got two options. That other brake lever that worked, it was either a 350X or a second gen 200X. I don't remember. This one doesn't fit, so I'm gonna cut it off. I'm gonna cut this off. This is another 200X brake link, and then I'm gonna weld this up since I changed this out, so I can drill the hole where that one needs to be, and then match the size of that, and then we'll set a linkage. We're gonna cut this off, weld it on after we have the peg on, and then we'll be good. Okay, that needs to cool off. Looks like we're gonna be in business. I made a link out of 2 of the extensions, so it'll be adjustable. And then, yeah, we'll put that on when it cools off. We'll bleed the brakes. So if you drill and tap a hole right here, you can put a 200S tank on here. We got an oversized plastic one I'll be putting back on it. And then, yeah, let me get the carburetor together. More thing, I just put a longer adjuster in there. It's a new one that goes in a dirt bike swing arm. I don't know where it's gonna end up yet, so that way we won't run out of adjustment. I can always switch it back later if it fits. Gotta put the return spring on. I bent this end of the spring open. That way it's gonna fit over the other one of these. Okay, well, I didn't have the right silicone. I bought that for a different throttle body for the other motor, so I put that back on, unfortunately, but I mean, it fits perfect. So if you're doing this stuff, it works. All we gotta do is put the wire harness on. We got proper play, no bind, brakes work, so you can run the 200S everything. Like I said, we'll do the lights on another video. I got an idea for mounting the front up, and then we'll do the stock tail light. So let's just get this guy together now. Okay, so tail light back here, wire harness ran up this side. I'm gonna zip tie this one up. I wanted to put it, I might put it on the other side of this, and then it comes up. Headlights are gonna catch here. That all works, so there you have it. I'm gonna put the tank on. All right, that was a bit exhausting, but in 8 hours time, we have an AutoX finished. So 1 day only. All right, let's put the carb in the Takati and let's go to the gravel pit. Here, Shane.
Yep.
All right, so we successfully built the AutoX in 8 hours. Boy, was that a project. Now we're gonna give it a spin and see what happens. All right, AutoX is done. That was a big project. Oh, gotta turn the idle up. Got it done in 1 day though. I'm gonna take it for the first ride. right, everything works, so I'm gonna turn it over to the kids. All right, it has a backward shift pattern. What do you think, Shane? Well, hopefully he shifts. Now he shifts, good. He's just putting around. I think he's gonna like it. It's a lot better than him riding that one that weighs 100 more pounds in case he rolls it on himself. All right, well, try Moto Man here. I'd say the Auto X is a success, so see us for our next build.